So, students, in the past few classes, we have discussed about collision in one dimension, where objects before collision and after collision, they will be traveling in same direction. Before collision, they travel purely along x-axis, and after collision also they travel purely along x-axis. Such collision is called collision in one dimension or head-on collision. And now in this figure, it is clearly shown there are collisions taking place between the objects in such a way. This is mass ma, and this is ma going in this direction with velocity va, and there is another body b. B is coming in opposite direction and its mass is mb. This mb has velocity some value vb, and this body, when it is coming here and from here this body is coming, two bodies collide with each other. This body is moving in xy plane and this body is also moving in xy plane. These two bodies, they travel in xy plane, they come and collide with each other, and after collision body A will be coming here. So this body come and collide and then move in this direction. This body come collide with A and go in this direction. This is velocity vb dash and this is velocity v dash a. Before collision velocities are va and vb. After collision velocities are va dash and vb dash. Before collision they are traveling in xy plane. After collision also they are traveling in xy plane. Such collisions are said to be oblique collisions, which I have explained to you in the beginning of this collisions topic. So if collisions are taking place in two dimensions, such collisions are said to be collision, oblique collision or collision in two dimensions. Now, how to deal with collisions in two dimensions? Let us see. I'll consider now x and y axis. This is x and y axis. This is x axis and this is y axis. And there are bodies which are undergoing collisions. And here it is mentioned this is velocity of A and this is velocity of B. After collision they are traveling in such a way. This is velocity of B and this is velocity of A, right? I'll put arrow marks for this. These are directions of velocity after collision, and these are directions of velocities before collision. Now I am denoting this velocity as VA and this velocity as VB, and after collision this is VA dash and after collision this is VB dash. Clearly VA and VB is in XY plane as they are vectors. We can resolve them into components. We can resolve that vectors into components. Now let us consider this VA is making an angle. This VA is making an angle theta A with x-axis, and this VB is making an angle theta B with x-axis. After collision, this body is making an angle theta B dash, and here with x-axis it is making an angle theta A dash. Okay, so I can resolve these vectors into components. You can resolve these vectors into different components, like component along x-axis and component along y-axis. So I will resolve that vector into components. One component in this direction and another component in this direction. One component in this direction, another component in this direction. Likewise, one component in this direction, other component in this direction. One component in this direction, other component in this direction. So all those vectors can be resolved into components. Now this is VB cos theta B, and this is VB sin theta B. And along x-axis, you can write it as along x-axis, here it is VA cos theta A, and this is VA sin theta A. Likewise, here VB dash, this is VB dash cos theta B dash, and this is VB dash sin theta B dash. Likewise, here this is along x-axis, you can write it as VA dash into cos theta A dash, and this is VA dash sin theta A dash. So what you have done, you have resolved all the vectors into components. As velocities are resolved, we can write VA is equal to, how do you write VA? VA can be written as VA cos theta A, and along x-axis it is resolved into this one I am writing. So it is VA cos theta A. Along x-axis it is coming in positive x-axis, so therefore it is I cap. And next, what about this one? It is coming in negative y-axis, so therefore it is minus VA sin theta A into j cap. Similarly, what about VA dash? VA dash is equal to, along x-axis this is the component VA dash into cos theta A dash, and this is minus I cap minus VA dash sin theta A dash, and this is along negative x-axis, so it is negative y-axis, it is minus j. So VA and VA dash we have calculated. Before collision and after collision we have written down the velocities. Now coming to VB is equal to, along x-axis this is the value, it is VB cos theta B, and it is along negative x-axis, so therefore I can write it as minus I cap, and this is along y direction, you can write it as VB sin theta B, and positive y-axis, so therefore j cap. Similarly, VB dash is equal to, this is VB dash, right? Along x-axis this is the value, so therefore VB dash into cos theta B dash I cap, and along y-axis this is the value, and it is along positive y-axis, so I can write it as VB dash into sin theta B dash into j cap. So these are the vectors which are resolved into components. Now you can use law of conservation of momentum and as well as law of conservation of kinetic energy for collision in 2 dimensions also, but along y-axis and x-axis you should use separately. So momentum along x-axis is conserved and momentum along y-axis is also conserved. The momentum along x-axis and y-axis are being conserved, so therefore you can use separately. Momentum along x-axis and momentum along y-axis are being conserved, and substituting those values there, you can use law of conservation of momentum. Also you can use law of conservation of kinetic energy, but as kinetic energy is a scalar, directly you will be writing it as kinetic energy of the first body plus second body before collision is equal to kinetic energy of first body, second body after collision, because it is scalar quantity. You need not resolve x components, y components for kinetic energy because it is scalar quantity. So this is one example of oblique collision. We have one body whose velocity is v1 and this is moving along x-axis, and this is in the rest position, so I can write it as v2 is equal to 0. That means second body, it is in the rest position, v2 I am considering it as 0, or you can just write it as u1 and you can write it as u2 because we already have denoted them as u1 and u2 in the past few examples. After collision, both bodies are oblique. That means they are traveling in different directions. So this is going with velocity v2 and this is going with velocity v1. So two bodies are moving in different directions along xy plane. Now I can take this as x-axis and this as y-axis. Okay. These two vectors are moving in different directions. Now v2 can be resolved into components. v1 can also be resolved into components. v2 can be resolved into one component along xy axis. Similarly, v1 also can be resolved into components along xy directions. Now if I am considering this angle is pi, then this angle I can consider it as, both are like here in this example they are considered to be as pi, so you can write it as v2 into cos pi and this is v2 into sin pi. Similarly, this is v1 into cos pi and this is v1 into sin pi. So after collision they will be traveling in different directions. Now I can use law of conservation of momentum and law of conservation of kinetic energy. So let u1 u2 be velocities along x-axis before collision, v1 v2 be velocities oblique in xy plane after collision. After collision they are traveling in different directions. Now you can use law of conservation of momentum from law of conservation of linear momentum. I can write m1 u1 bar. I'm just writing it as vector, that's it. I'm not using I component, j component. I'm just using it as vector. m1 u1 plus second body is in the rest position before collision, that should be equal to, after collision two bodies are moving with different velocities, it is m1 v1 bar plus m2 v2 bar. Okay, this is in case of law of conservation of linear momentum. Now from law of conservation of kinetic energy, you can just write it as half m1 u1 square, because its kinetic energy initially before collision is for only first body, second body is in the rest position, is equal to half m2 u2 square, sorry, v2 square plus half m1 v1 square. And this is a scalar. Kinetic energy is a scalar, so you need not resolve, you need not write it in the form of vector quantity because it is a scalar quantity. So now in this example what we are considering is, let m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m. So that means if both masses they are equal, then in such cases this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2, right? So from equation 1 I can write it as u1 bar is equal to v1 bar plus v2 bar. Okay, v1 bar is equal to, sorry, u1 bar is equal to v1 bar plus v2 bar. Similarly, from equation 2 you can write it as half m on both sides gets cancelled. I can write it as u1 square is equal to v1 square plus v2 square. So u1 square is equal to v1 square plus v2 square. Let me take this as equation number 3. Let me take it as equation number 4. Now from equation 3 we use parallelogram law of vectors and write it as, so you can use parallelogram law of vectors. u1 bar, which is the sum of v1 and v2. So how do you write v1 magnitude whole square? u1 magnitude whole square is equal to under root v1 square plus v2 square plus 2v1 v2 into cos theta. So as you are writing here a square, you need not take this as under root. So u1 will be equal to under root v1 square plus v2 square plus 2v1 v2 into cos theta. This is equation number 5. So equation 4 and equation 5 we have u1 square in common. Therefore I will be writing it as from 4 and 5 you can write v1 square plus v2 square is equal to v1 square plus v2 square plus 2v1 v2 into cos theta. v1 square v2 square, v1 square v2 square gets cancelled. From this you can write 2v1 v2 into cos theta is equal to 0. Cos theta is equal to 0. Theta is equal to 90 degrees. So you have got theta is equal to 90 degrees. That means if two masses, equal masses, one at rest is collided with other obliquely, after collision they move perpendicular to each other. So after collision they move perpendicular to each other. In this case, this angle, whatever between v1 and v2, there is an angle, right? This angle, this angle is proved to be as 90 degrees. So this total angle between v1 and v2, theta, is proved to be as 90 degrees if their masses are initially equal and one is in the rest position, other one is in motion. So if two identical masses, one at rest and the other one moving with velocity v1, collide obliquely, after collision two masses travel perpendicular to each other. This is one important conclusion you need to remember in oblique collisions. So we have a problem which is based on law of conservation of momentum and kinetic energy. So a bob A whose angle, which is making an angle of 30 degrees with the vertical, is being released from the rest. Its initial velocity u is equal to 0. And it come and hit this another mass, and when it is hitting, as both masses are identical, both masses are same, mass A comes to rest position and mass B will be coming to motion. Okay, you are asked to find out how high does the Bob A rise after the collision? So how high will Bob A rise after the collision? That is first question. Neglect the size of the balls and assume the collision to be elastic. So as collision is elastic collision, here two masses, their masses are equal, M and M. This is M and this is M. Okay. So as their masses are equal, remember that we have learned one conclusion. If two masses are equal, if two masses are equal, one at rest and other moving with velocity before collision, after collision, their velocities are exchanged. Their velocities are exchanged. So we have basic equation which we derived in the previous lecture. V1 is equal to M1 minus M2 divided by M1 plus M2 into U1 plus 2 times M2 divided by M1 plus M2 into U2. Likewise, V2 is equal to 2 times M1 divided by M1 plus M2 into U1 plus M2 minus M1 divided by M1 plus M2 into U2. Right? You can substitute all these values over here. What would happen? We have already discussed about this. Their velocities get reversed. So Bob A comes to rest after collision. Its velocity is completely transferred to Bob resting on ground. Therefore, after collision, V1 will become equal to 0. V2 will be not equal to 0. That means second body will be moving with some velocity. So with what velocity second body move, that you need to calculate. So for that I'll use law of conservation of energy. Now this distance you can consider it as length from here to here. You can take one value. Length from here to here you can take it as these values. You can take it as length. This is L. So I can take this as L cos 30. I can take it as L sin 30. And this H can be written as H is equal to L into 1 minus cos 30. Right? This is H. From law of conservation of energy, you can write total energy will be constant. That is half M U1 square is equal to mg. H value you can take it as L into 1 minus cos 30. Okay, M and M gets cancelled. This gives you U1 is equal to 2gl into 1 minus cos 30. This is velocity of the first body before collision. So after collision, second body gains this velocity. Its value will be 2gl into 1 minus cos 30. Cos 30 value you can substitute here. This gives you final velocity. So body A, when hit the bob which is resting on the ground, it does not rise up. It will come to rest position because as it is elastic collision, conservation of momentum is valid here. Bob A will transfer its complete momentum to Bob B. So second body will be moving with velocity of the first one. The velocities get exchanged in this case. This example where you are being given mass of bullet. There is a bullet. Bullet mass is given as 0.012 kg. And it is coming with a speed u1, which is 70 meter per second. And it strikes a block of wood. It is striking a block of wood which is suspended from a ceiling, and this bullet this block mass is m2, which is equal to 0.4 kg, and it is in the rest position. And this is suspended with a wire. Bullet hit this block and it comes to rest position. Now as a result, bullet will this will be going to certain height. Right now it will be going to certain height. Calculate the height to which the block rises. You want to find out to what height the block is being raised. Okay. This is the height which has been raised, and this height you want to calculate, h. So in order to calculate this height, you will be using law of conservation of momentum and law of conservation of energy. So as it is, energy here will be mg into h, and energy here will be only kinetic energy, which is equal to half m plus capital M into common velocity whole square. I want to now find out common velocity. In order to find out common velocity, I will use law of conservation of momentum. From law of conservation of momentum, initial mass it is 0.012 into velocity is 70 plus second mass is in the rest position, and after collision both masses will be combined with each other. So two masses I should add them. This gives you 0.012 plus 0.4 kg into common velocity Vc whole square. And this 0 gets cancelled. It is 0.12 into 7 divided by 0.412 is equal to Vc square. Vc square value we have got it. Right? This is equation number 2. And this is equation number 1. Okay. Now, after collision, two bodies will commonly rise to certain height. Now, as we know, from law of conservation of energy, total energy is equal to constant. So initially total energy is only kinetic energy, that is half into smaller mass is 0.012 plus 0.4 into Vc square is equal to m into g. M is total mass here also. Remember that m is mass which is being raised, and this mass is 0.012 plus 0.4 into acceleration due to gravity is 10, and that is h. And this m and this m gets cancelled. So what is left over here? Vc square divided by 2 is equal to 10h. I want to now find out this h value. This gives you h is equal to Vc square divided by 20. Now this is equation number 3. Now take this Vc square and substitute in equation 3 using 2 in 3. You can write h is equal to 0.12 into 7 divided by 0.412 into 20. So this h can be written as 12 into 7. You can write it as 12 into 7, 7 2 is 14, 7 1 7 plus 1, 84. So this will become 8.4 divided by 4.12 into 2. This become 2 2's 4, 2 1's 2, 2 4's 8, 8.24. And this is in meter. So 8.4 divided by 8.24 is the final answer. You can even cancel this with 4 or you can cancel this with 2. This gives you the final height which the ballistic pendulum rise after bullet hit the pendulum. So students, here 0.12 into 7, actually it is 0.84, but I have took it as 8.4. So there is a small error in the calculation that you can correct it. It is 0.84 divided by 8.24 gives you 0.1019 meter.